here today to check out some more cricket.
But should we just call it like Cricket Tuesday or something like that?
Cricket Tuesday.
Cricket Tuesday.
Cricket Tuesday.
It was repeating itself. Didn't we just see that?
It's so true, though.
Okay, well, first of all,
true.
Mitch Johnson, Brett Lee, MS Dhoni. With all that boring stuff out of the way, this is a very important, momentous occasion. All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews, and this should be a very interesting video, hopefully the first of many to come. So Boring Reviews finally broke down, and we got Hotstar, and I got it for the whole year. We got it for the whole year, and I'm excited because not only are there movies and shows, but there's also cricket on there. And we've been told by our viewers, fans, subscribers, whatever you want to call these wonderful people, we've been told many times that you need to watch highlights of a game. And I was thinking, highlights? Well, I understand why, because Hotstar has several different highlight videos ranging from 6 to 8 to 12 to 16 minutes. And it's really cool. So I was lying down in bed just watching some highlights. And I just want to talk about a few of the highlights I watched. And I want to ask a few questions. So this is not a reaction. This is not Cricket Tuesday, but this is cricket related. And I'm curious if you as our viewers want more of these videos to come, because having these videos on Hotstar, it's not impossible, but it makes it very difficult for us to react to a highlight or to something like this that we watch on there. And not only always can we set it up, sometimes we just want to watch it in the comfort of our own homes or couches or rooms or whatever. But I'm curious if you would be interested in us doing more discussions like I'm going to do right now. If so, it'd be a lot of fun for us, and hopefully be a lot of fun for you. So the two highlight videos I watched on Hotstar just not too long ago, and I actually put it on Instagram, was I looked at the highlights of Rohit Sharma, and I remember that name because it was on the mobile game I was playing. I downloaded the game that Gabe was talking about, and I did get a higher score than you, Gabe, but not by much. I couldn't get one out when I was bowling. So I was watching the highlights of Rohit Sharma, and he was playing in what I think happened in January of this year. I think it was called the Bhutan Games, and it was India versus Australia, some international matches, and it looks like there was three games, three ODIs, excuse me, on the 14th, the 17th, and the 19th. Australia won the first ODI, 258, 255. Looks like India batted first, and then Australia came back to take over the lead. And then the second ODI, India batted first again. They hit 341 in 6 overs, and Australia was not able to keep up. They had 304. So India won the second game, so it was tied 1-1. I watched the highlights on the third ODI, and that was when, spoiler alert, India won 289 and 286. And it was interesting because as I'm watching not only just the Rohit Sharma highlights from that game and then the game highlights afterwards, I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of things that I'm truly interested in because I'm trying to better understand this wonderful game. And just from watching the highlights, listening to the crowds, watching what's going on, putting in what I have learned from our reactions, and from me just playing that game for a few hours. I spent several hours on that mobile game trying to figure it out. I can say that I understand why it's such an interesting game and such an exciting game. I was getting into it. I was finding myself cheering for India. Sorry, Australia, but that's just the way it works here at Boring Reviews. And so, first of all, let's talk about Rohit Sharma for a few minutes. He was fantastic. He had a century in that game. I think he had 119 total runs out of 128 overs, or balls, thrown to him, not overs, 128 balls, and I believe he was named like the most valuable player, or at least our equivalent to that. And he was just up there, and he was just raking. I mean, he was, I believe, maybe the second out once he finally went on and finished his tear. But they were down 286 runs, which I assume in an ODI is not a monstrous score, but a pretty healthy lead. And he was just, it kind of looked like he was going for the slow start, but then he just started raking, and he was hitting the ball in all different directions. He was hitting a few sixes. There was a few sixes on there that was super impressive because he was turning his whole body 90 degrees and then hitting it. Not like that. He was hitting it like that to go that way. He pulled it for a couple of sixes. One looked like it was going to be in the top tank. But this guy had serious bat control. I believe it was his 100th plus, maybe 110th century in his career. He hit the 9,000 run marks. I think they had mentioned that he's the third player to do so, or maybe the third fastest, to do so. So he obviously is a superstar on the Indian team. 32 years old, I believe, so still relatively young enough. But in cricket, I want to know, first question, is he, and I'll put the questions right here, is 32 years old for a cricket player? What's the average age of that retirement age? What is possibly the oldest cricket player that was really still very competitive that they played for? That was question number one about the age. But he was phenomenal. And my hat definitely goes off to you, Rohit Sharma, because that was fun to watch, the highlights. And he seemed like such a gentleman, too, when he was interviewed afterwards. Spoke very, very good English, as most Indians do, right? But he did a great job, and it was fun to watch that. My second question is he finally got out after the 119 runs that he scored. He finally got out by what we call in baseball a pop-up, where he just hit it higher than farther, and it was caught. And again, it's not easy to catch those balls, I can only imagine, but the Australian defenseman caught it, and he was finally out. Now, maybe he was tired after raking for so long. Who knows how long it actually took. But my question is, for someone who's as talented as he was, and on the tear that he was on, why would he take the chance at making that swing? I'm sure he knows at this point in his career usually where that ball's going to go and whether it's worth going. I wonder if he just thought he'd have a little more power on it and it just didn't, if maybe there was some moisture in the grass. That's my second question. Why did he go for that ball? I know he's going for the wickets, so he's protecting the wickets. Maybe why not just put the bat down so that it would just go a little bit and not run so he can defend those wickets? That's my second question. Now going into the highlights of the game. So the game highlights, obviously it showed us the highlights. It showed Australia first, and then it showed us India. I believe that each game is determined on a coin toss on who goes up first and who goes up second. My third question is, what typically does each team want to do? Do they want to go first, or do they want to bat first, or they want to bat second? Or is it kind of 50-50? I'm curious if there's a preference. In football, they always usually want to kick off first so they can get that ball in the second half. Cricket's different, but in cricket, if you don't go first, you get a bat second after you see the lead. So me and Gabe are always curious, what is the preference typically? What's the more strategically smart move? So in the game, I think I better understand overs. Me and Jody recently recorded our video for Cricket Tuesday a little early, and so I'll talk about the overs there. So I'm not going to ask my question about overs, but I believe in these ODIs. Okay, this is my big question. And yes, I can research this, and I can find out for myself, and fine, I got my information, but I like to interact with the viewers. So that's why I am creating a video on this. And again, let me know in the comment section if you like these types of videos. Maybe it's just boring enough for boring reviews. Maybe you're not interested. Let me know. But what I want to know in an ODI match, first of all, how is that different than T20 or Test cricket, right? How is ODI different? Is that just like a thing that means international play? In the ODI match, Australia, they had 9 outs, but then they were done playing. So I'm assuming they hit some kind of over limit, okay? And it looks, I keep saying 50-50 on these scores, is 50 the over limit. So basically, either you get 10 outs and you're done batting, or you hit your 50 overs bowled to you and you're done batting. That's question number 4. Is that how it works? And maybe it's not 50, maybe it's 60, maybe it's 20, maybe it's, I don't know. But let me know if you want to answer any of these questions. Let me know. And when you're answering questions, just put the number of the question and put your answer. If you want to answer all of them, then, God bless you. But I want to know, is that how it works? That when you're batting, you're either done batting when you get to all 10 outs, or you get to your over limit and then you switch. Because I've noticed in a lot of the videos that we've done reactions to, it'll say they need 5 runs on 2 balls. And I even mentioned it in Lagan as well. So I'm curious, why is there a limit? Why would it not just be 10 outs? Because when India was going, they had only 3 outs in that last ODI match for the entire time they were up. They were almost averaging 100 runs per out, which is really impressive. I can only imagine. It seems impressive to me, at least. I want to know, and even Australia, it looks like in the first ODI match, they had 0 outs. They just got 258 runs and they won. That's even more impressive. Holy cow. I want to know if that's how it works. India, they only got 3 outs, and that was enough because Rohit Sharma and their captain, I'm going to butcher the name, I think Karali or something like that, I think he got 89 runs. They were both doing their job. They were putting in work. They were doing work, as we say Kobe used to do when he played basketball. Let me know what that over limit is, what that ball limit is. And I know like in an over, typically there's 6 balls to throw in over, to bowl. When it goes wide or there's a penalty, I don't think that counts as one of those 6. So when it says balls, does that conclude even the penalty balls, the ones that go wide or stuff like that? Let me know. I want to better understand the game. So that's my 5th question I'm going to put right here. Is it a ball limit or is it an over limit? And if it's a ball limit, does that count the penalties like the wide or whatnot? And as I was watching it, it was incredibly impressive to see the hustle on both sides. These guys are hustling to try to prevent that to being a 4. It might be a 2 or a 3 guaranteed, but they are going all out. They're diving almost every time just to try to stop it for a second. My last question, is that how it always is? Is that hustle always consistently? Well, it's not really my last question. Scrap that. Take that question out. My last question is, because they're hustling so much, because I'm assuming they're probably hustling like that in every single game, especially these ODI matches, these international matches. My last question really is, here we go, is can you substitute a player? I think someone answered this before, but I can't remember. Can you substitute a player? And if you do, can you substitute as many times as you want? There was a guy that injured his shoulder earlier on in the match when Australia was hitting. So they took him out. Is he able to come back in whenever he wants when he's feeling better? Do they lose one less player on the field? I know they have some replacement players. Can you just swap the replacement player when he's feeling better, come back, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts, no problems about it? Is it like soccer that once you get replaced, you're not going back in for that game? Let me know. Those are some of the questions I have. It was a lot of fun to watch those highlight videos. It didn't take that long, and I feel like I learned so much. Hopefully, I'm showing from the things I'm talking about that I'm learning, and I'm better understanding the game. I definitely did get a little more interested in possibly the test winning our poll, for that being the video, that the series that we do, because I saw names like Steve Smith and whatnot on there, and I believe that team is the team that we're going to see in that show, in that documentary. But I hope you enjoyed this discussion. I'm sorry it's not a reaction. I'm sorry there's no video there. It's a solo discussion, but I'm just curious on if you want us to do more like this, and of course invite Gabe and whatnot. But if you did like this discussion, give me a thumbs up. That's the best way for me to know. Go ahead and share with your friends. Go ahead and subscribe if you're new to Boring Reviews. And thank you so much. Until next time, adios.